doing YouTube and like a job that you like, it's almost like a relationship, you know, like you can just be in it. You can just, you know, be content, you know, put in time and effort. There's going to be ups and downs. If you like chart it out, like just like highs and lows, that happens in relationships. So you need to keep putting in the work.
So this is your first podcast, Dylan.
Yeah, it is.
See, that's wild. For those of you who don't know, this man is a force of nature. How early were you on YouTube?
I started in 2012, 2013. So like, it's a little hazy, but I think like the end of 2012 started 2013.
That is OG YouTube. This man's built an empire, and we're lucky to have him today. We're going to play, Dylan. It's basically 36 questions to fall in love.
Okay. So are we going to fall in love by the end of this?
Well, that's the hope, right?
All right.
Are you familiar? Have you done this before?
I've never done this before. I think my girlfriend showed me this, but we've never played.
And she was like, let's play this. And you were just like,
Nah, I'm all right.
I'm good. You're going to come back and like, oh, like I played this great game. Like, you should check it out.
So actually, I fell in love with Eric. Sorry.
We should discuss this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So here's the way it's going to work.
Okay.
We're going to go through questions of 3 different levels. Level 1 is the simplest. Level 3 is the deepest.
Okay.
And really, this is just meant as a framing device for you and me to get to know each other a little bit better.
Okay. I do feel like I've known you for a while, but
Yeah.
I don't think I know you as much as some of these questions.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We're not really strangers. We're going to be especially close at the end of this.
All right. We're going to be best friends.
I love it. So here's the way it works.
Okay.
In terms of who takes out the first question, we're going to stare into each other's eyes.
Wait, what?
I'm not even kidding.
What?
This is part of the instructions.
Yeah, let me see this manual.
Legitimately, right here.
Okay.
It's like I'm just making all of this up.
Eric doesn't know the rules. These are all fake.
Honestly, I haven't looked this for a long, long time. Oh, see right here. Stare deeply into each other's eyes. The first to blink draws first.
The first to blink. It's just a staring contest.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to make it so deep. This is just a staring contest. That's fine.
Okay. Does that help you? Does that help frame it better if it's just a staring contest?
Yeah. I might get nervous. Okay.
All
Wait,
right.
my eyes are closed now.
Dude, my eyes get dry so fast.
Me too. It's
Okay.
so early. All right.
It's really, for guys, everyone, this is 9 a.m. Dylan wakes up at 5:30 in the morning.
We're on California time though, so technically I'm groggy because it's too late. It's like 11.
Oh my gosh. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
I'm trying not to laugh. I feel like I'm gonna laugh first before I blink. My eyes are so dry.
My eyes are drier.
You blinked. All right, we're good.
Dude, that was not long at all.
No, I was ready to go for a while. If you didn't blink there, I would have blinked.
You were prepared. All right, so we're gonna start with level 1. I'm just gonna choose
right.
one.
So do you ask me the question on the
I'm
card?
gonna ask you the question.
Gotcha.
You can
Okay.
ask a question to me.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is actually sometimes the hard in the cards, man. You just gotta trust in it. This is so relevant.
Oh.
Do I seem like a morning person or a night owl? Why?
Okay. Well, first off, I got here and Eric had just woken up.
Yes.
So
Again, this is 9 a.m. for context.
yeah, I feel like 9 a.m. is still pretty late in the morning too.
I'm impressed.
So I feel like you have to be a night owl.
You nailed it.
Plus, we got dinner the other night, and you seemed like you had a ton of energy still, and I was about to pass
actually,
out.
I remember we got dinner. You were kind of like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just chugging on.
Like, I'm here. I'm excited to see you guys. I'm just tired. And I was like, yo.
You're like, what's up, everybody?
Like, let's go.
Let's go. I feel like that fits you though, especially with like everything going on and like work and stuff like that.
Well, I think so. Studies have shown people are just naturally nocturnal or diurnal, like night people or day people.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we tend to shift a little bit more to early in the day.
Yeah.
But like for me, I've always just felt most alive when it's like 2 a.m.
See, I used to feel like that when I played a lot of video games. And then I think the older I get and like the busier things get, like I'm trying to like work out a little bit more and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Nice.
you know, I don't really want to cram that right when I get home from work.
Yeah.
So let's just like start it in the morning. And I think all of that leads me to
Because
being more of a
you're
morning
a
person.
5:30 a.m. guy.
Okay. I say like 5:30, 5:45. It's really like 6:12.
Okay, that's
6:20.
very specific and still very early.
It's because of my alarms. I my first alarm is at like 5:45, and then I snooze it for a while.
There's a saying that the most natural way is to just wake up without needing anything.
True.
So maybe you're forcing yourself to wake up just a little too early.
Okay, you might have a point here.
If you have like 30 minutes of alarms and then you're like, oh, I'm a morning person.
The thing is, there will be times that I'll wake up earlier than 5:45. So I'll wake up at like, let's say like 5:20.
Right,
But then
right.
I'll look at my phone and I'll be like, you know what? This is 20 minutes too early. I'm not getting up yet. And so I'll fall back asleep.
Okay.
And that's what really messes me up. Like I get back into REM and then I'm really groggy. But if I do get up right when I wake up.
Are
I'm
you
good.
a big like dreams person? Do you remember your dreams when you sleep?
It depends. Like
Yeah.
lately, yeah.
Ooh, wait, what's your most recent dream you've had?
Dude, lately I've had so many nightmares lately. I don't know
Okay,
why.
that is terrifying. I feel like you're like, I set alarms for 30 minutes to wake up. I have nightmares every waking day. Like, yo,
Yo, are you good?
let's talk about this. Well, what's your most recent one?
So because I play a lot of Roblox just for like videos and stuff like that,
Right.
there are some of the games that I play like so much that I don't know if it's just like sits in my head, but like I'll just dream about videos sometimes where like I'm just like in my video and I'm like, yo, what is going on?
Have you ever woken up and you're just like, video idea, done?
Yeah,
Yo, that is impressive. Dude, even unconsciously, it was working.
I know. And this is why I'm tired.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't sleep at all.
But no, it's fun though.
So your like, most recent dream, so like you were playing Roblox or you're like in Roblox?
No, I was just in it. Like I was just like me, like in the game.
That is dedication.
Yeah,
right there.
sometimes it's scary. Sometimes I'm like, oh, yo, this is kind of sick. But I don't know.
Do you have any best dreams you can remember? Like
Best
happy
dreams?
dreams?
When I was younger, I tried like lucid dreaming. Like I
Yeah.
tried to like train myself to like lucid
Yeah,
dream.
yeah.
I think when I was like 15. Those were sick because I was only able to like maximize it once or twice. But during those, I was able to like fly, had superpowers. Those were sick. But
I remember I never quite got into lucid dreaming. When I was younger, I'd eventually become aware that I was like in a dream.
really?
Yeah, and usually it's helpful in two ways. One way is if it was a scary dream,
Uh-huh.
I'd blink myself awake. Like I keep blinking and blinking and blinking. Eventually, one time I opened my eyes to be out of the dream.
Uh-huh.
Except one time, dude, I was in a nightmare, and I did this, and I woke up in my bed. I'm like, all right, it's chill, it's chill. I went to the bathroom, and the monster jumped out of the bathtub because I was still in another dream.
You were still in the dream.
Yo, I
Oh,
inceptioned
man.
myself.
No.
Because it became such a known thing that I knew I could do this. I think my mind just adapted. They're like, oh, let's troll him.
Let's mess with him.
Yeah, I literally woke up like in my bed. I was like, all right, we good.
Oh no. Was it wait? Okay, you said this was when you were younger. Or is this
This is
recent?
younger.
Younger. Okay.
I mean, as I've gotten older, my dreams, like when they're scary, they're not like monsters. So like you're in school again, you fail this test. Like
Yeah.
your ex says hi and you miss her. Like you woke up and you have so much work to do, but I'm actually sleeping and you have no way to catch up.
And then
Like,
you wake up and you're like, wait, that's real. No.
yeah, I mean, that's happened too. But
Oh man.
I've totally had dreams where like I'm like in Excel.
in Excel.
Yeah, because I used to do a lot of modeling. So I used to
Huh.
work in banking, right? And
Yeah.
so like you like model all day, and then you're like sleeping and you're dreaming about modeling, and then you wake up and I'm like, that sucked.
Wait, Excel like spreadsheets?
Yeah, dude.
You have dreams about doing spreadsheets?
Dude, if I recall correctly, I mean, you said you were doing YouTube since 2012.
Yeah.
So you went straight from childhood to content. You
Yeah.
didn't
I've
have
never had like a
implementation.
regular job.
See, that's cool, all right? That's why like you never had to go do the Excel grind. You had a different type of hustle, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, dude, I mean, you were doing this before it was even a job.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because like we'll hire people now and like they'll be like, yo, do we have this spreadsheet for this? And I'm like, no.
You're like, bro,
But are you good at Excel? Because
hey, man.
maybe whoever can figure it out.
At this point, right? Like, do you think yourself as like a creator or like a CEO? Because you like manage a team at this pretty large size.
I would say probably for like the past like 2 years,
Yeah.
I was more CEO focused. So like
Right.
really learning all of the business side. Like literally when I went to Vid Summit in 2021,
Wow, yeah.
I felt like that was where I was at, whereas everyone else was more into the like creator side of things. So everyone was like talking ideas and like talking all of these stats. And for me, I was like, yo, I just spent the last like year and a half learning business.
You're like, I'm hiring a team. Like, how do
yeah.
I manage them?
Yeah, and so now I think I'm almost like reverting back. So like I learned all of the structure stuff and I'm still learning, But now I'm going back into, okay, like now let's try to like refigure out like how to be a creator again and like talk to people and like socialize and do everything like that. So I almost like just took like a different direction, and now I'm like going back to being a creator. I want to figure out how to do both like really, really well.
I like that because you started off obviously just making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then what was that moment where you're like, oh, like this could be like a living?
Honestly, I feel like I thought about it that way pretty quickly on.
Yeah.
Cause basically when I started, it was like my friend in middle school. He randomly hit me up and he was like, yo, we've been watching these Minecraft videos. You want to try filming some? And I was like, sure. Okay. I'm down. Yeah. And I was doing YouTube maybe for a week and a half, 2 weeks. And there was this YouTuber that I watched. I think he had 100,000 subscribers at the time, but he was streaming on Twitch to promote his Minecraft server.
Wow.
And it was super late at night, but I was watching a stream, and basically he was saying, yo, if you buy, you know, like the highest rank on this Minecraft server, whoever like spends the most money like within this time frame, I'm gonna call you on stream.
It's pretty cool.
So I was like, all right. So borrowed my parents' credit card real quick, as the 13-year-old does.
Dang.
Bought a rank, and then from that point on, like I got on that call, and then that night I gained like I think like 5,000 subscribers. So
this is like a life-changing moment for you.
Super stroke of luck. And then right after that, I was speaking with him, and he kind of just like put everything in a perspective right away. In that first like 2 weeks of me doing YouTube.
It's like, yeah, you don't know where life's gonna take you, but that was like a huge moment for you.
Yeah, so like he explained all of that to me. He explained to me the inner workings of a Minecraft server and how much money you can make on the internet really early on. And I was like, yo, I don't really understand all of it because I was in middle school, but I felt that there was something there.
Right.
So I just kind of kept going with it for until now.
And that's why, because to your point, you started off, hey, middle school just doing content, then you became like a CEO. You've got a team over 10 people.
Yeah.
You and I, we've both talked about like how you build a good team, how you do good culture. And now because you got a new channel, in a way, you're getting to rediscover that, hey, like I just want to make cool stuff and be that creator mindset more than the CEO mindset again. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of where it is, where my first and foremost goal is to try to be someone that can like lead a team really well and build like a really, really solid company culture. So I like my team is like my first and foremost thought, but outside of that, for me personally, right, I can only do that for, so long.
Right.
And so I want to find, like the best like strategic way to start making videos again on this new channel that like really fits how I feel and like the things that I like.
You as a person, what you care about. Like
with still making it, like business structure. Like I'm not just gonna, all right, here's my hobby today. Here's my hobby tomorrow.
It's like, here's what Dylan wants to make videos about randomly.
Yeah. Like I don't think I'm entertaining enough to do like daily vlogs or do anything like that. I do think I'm the type of person that still needs structure. So I still have to follow like a niche and a strategy and stuff like that. But it just so happens that I also enjoy that. So I can find, myself doing that with like one big passion project and doing that for a while.
So Jack Conte, the founder of Patreon, has written that like, you got to find the intersection, like what you want to make, what people want to see.
Yeah. Well, I've had talks with my team where I'm like, look, this is the idea that I want to do. And they're like, yo, the story behind it's great, but no one's clicking on that. And I'm like, you know what? That's a fair point. How can we, make it so that we don't lose all of our money, but still keep the same like integrity of the story?
Yeah.
And so right now we're still trying to figure all of that out. Like I'm really extreme. So if I like have an idea that I want to do, I'm like, this story's sick. So luckily now my team pulls me back. And they're like, yo, I get it. It's good. But also we gotta think big picture here and like figure out a strategy.
Okay. If you genuinely had no business implications or considerations, what's that idea that you're like, yo?
Well, it's not necessarily like the idea. It's just like, sometimes I'll just think of like a really cool story.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those, when you get into the video, it's really, really great.
Yeah.
But how do you get people into the video in the first place? And sometimes I don't know if I just hyper focus into the story and I'm like, yo, this is sick. I would watch this. I think a lot of people would watch this. But I'm like, wait, the idea, like the spectacle of like the click isn't there. So that's kind of where my team has to try to reel me back in.
I really resonated with your point. I think two things you said. One is like, yeah, it's like finding that balance between what you want to do and what supports you as a business.
Yeah.
Like for me, like in a way, I did go through that corporate background, right? Like I graduated,
you were at Instagram, right?
Exactly. Like I graduated, I worked in investment banking, I worked in consulting, I worked in Instagram. And at a certain point, man, I was just like, yo, this is not it. Like I do not want to do this. I want to do my own thing.
What was your like moment? Like, do you remember just, like a day at the office and you were like, yo.
I actually do. So my last year at Instagram, I ended up with a new manager. So I was close with all my managers at Facebook and Instagram. I'm still friends with many of them today.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of them will probably see this.
What's up, guys?
Yo. But my last manager, I really didn't get along well with.
Gotcha.
And I remember for me, the moment where it's like, I need to do something different. So I really liked the 0 to 1, something new, a new product, a new team versus just scaling something existing to bigger.
Right.
And so at the time I was working on Instagram business accounts and creator accounts, like growth, like scaling those out. And I wanted to do something 0 to 1. So I wanted to make it really easy. The same way now you can like buy things on Instagram, right? You can like see a really cool pair of shoes and buy it.
I think I have a merch shop on Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you, yeah.
And so I was like, yo, I want to build an easy way for people to do that, but around like services, like booking a haircut, like booking a restaurant reservation, like booking to get your nails done, right?
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, like do it natively through Instagram because it's so visual. Like people say, like, oh, like these nails look so good. Let me do this. Like I remember an engineer and we went to like BeautyCon because I know nothing about this stuff. And I convinced a group of like 5-6 people to do this on their like own time outside of their main work to like be like, yo, I think we can build our own team and project around it. Like here's a vision. And we worked really hard. We presented to leadership. We got buy-in. They're like, you know what? Team, go for it. Like this can be official. This is now a real team where I transitioned from it being my side project to my actual team and brought on a ton of people, engineers, designers, data scientists. We're like, let's go. Like this is our thing. And one day, so Instagram did a reorg, which means they just decided we got to reshift our priorities. They killed off a third of their teams, including at the time Instagram like Live.
Yeah.
I guess a bunch of them. So they killed off my team too. And my manager knew, and she didn't tell me. I found out through a director at Facebook. He was like, hey, like, what are you doing now that your team's shut down? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, didn't you hear the news? And I went to my manager and she was like, how did you find this out? Like he was focused on like the leak of information. And I was like, what the heck? She knew weeks ago that everything we were working on didn't matter. It's going to get shut down. I remember being so upset because my designer, Chinese New Year had happened. My designer, instead of going home and visiting her parents in China, was so excited about us finally getting the right to do this that she just kept working throughout the holiday. And my manager already knew that this was going to be shut down.
Yeah. But isn't the thing you're working on, I'm pretty sure that's a thing on Instagram now, no?
There's continued to be versions of it. And again, Instagram changes its mind. Like they killed the Instagram Live team. It's back.
Yeah.
Like especially in COVID, it like blew up again. So decisions are made every half. For me, there's this huge point where we worked so hard as a group of people. I convinced them to go on this vision together.
Yeah.
And we made it happen. And then we were shut down because of corporate strategy things outside our control. And my manager knew and didn't tell me, and we were working our butts off. And I said, never again.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to have more control over my own destiny. I want to work with people who I can trust. I want to go do my own thing. And I want to do it outside of even Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
And this goes back to your point. It's the classic, like, how do you find that mix of like what you think is a business opportunity, but like what you actually want to do?
Yeah. I think that's where like a lot of people and like YouTubers too struggle, where it's, I think it's really easy to think that your idea is like the best. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You kind of need that like confidence in order to make anything happen in the first place. But I do think it's good to like, take a step back and then try to see like big picture, especially with like creating content or like starting a company. Like, okay, here's this idea, but like, how do I get it to work for not just me? How do I get it to work for, the audience, this person that I'm going to hire? And my like rule of thumb with everything is I have like almost like no shame when like I'm pitching ideas or whatever it is. So in order to like help me step back, I'm like super transparent with my team. I'm like, this is my idea. I don't know if it's perfect. Roast it. Go for it.
Wow.
But let's all think in a mindset of like, here's the idea. Don't just shut it down with being like, no, this is bad.
Yeah,
like,
don't just be like, this sucks.
yeah, I'd be like, okay, this sucks. Why? Because I want to learn from my team as much as, like they learn from me and like I learn from other people. And I feel like that's just like the best way to approach just things in general, being like super transparent and just being open to suggestions. Cause I don't know. I've just seen people get caught up in like, my idea is the best, and I do it too. And then it's just not.
So I'm hearing for you, it's this balance for you to, hey, how do I balance what I want to do versus what supports the business? Is like, yo, I'm going to pitch everything. Yeah. And I trust the team of people who've come to work with me to help give that context. Like, yo, is this good for the business? Yeah.
Because we try to hire everyone almost like from the ground up. Like I personally think that if we wanted to, I could put a job posting and, like bring some exec on somewhere. But am I talking not to the mic?
No, you're doing it right.
Okay. But like, I want to bring people on who are just like interested in this space and like they're really, really cool. And then they're learning about everything, as we go. And then I think like foundationally, those people are a lot more solid than, someone I can just randomly hire. Those people know me a lot more. They know the best way for all of us to like communicate. And I mean, we've had a team of, right now we're at like 13. Yeah. Like our turnovers, like non-existent. Like no one's like, I'm gonna go somewhere else, and like I'm really, really happy with it. And everyone gets along really well. And I do think it's because no one's scared of telling the other person it's a bad idea. No one's scared of telling me I have a bad idea.
It's huge.
Because I'm like, guys, look, you guys at a certain point are smarter than me in this. I can just kind of like step in and give my thoughts on certain projects, but you guys really know too. Yeah. So I think that's like the biggest thing. And I don't know. I think I like that approach.
You figured out, because at the end of the day, everybody has so many different types of teams and people they could work for. Mm. There's got to be a part of what they genuinely get to do only with you. And like what you said, like a lot of teams don't do it. I know there are a lot of creators who'll be like, hey, no, like my way or the highway. Like this is it. You're going to execute. And I'm sitting here listening to you being like, yo, like here's a pitch. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. Like if anyone wants to shut down my ideas, I'm like, you know what? All right, cool. What's the next idea? And like some of our best ideas, like I didn't even pitch.
Nice.
So that's something that also helps me build that trust, with the team. Like I don't also have to be the one only thinking of the ideas. Yeah. Other people are thinking of bits for the videos and, like what we can do to fix retention for the videos. And I'm like, oh, sick. Like, because everyone's really, really transparent, one, that also takes like a lot of the pressure off. Like I don't need to think of this way to innovate, this way to change things, this way to do this. I can just focus on trying to make like the best videos I can think of, and also trying to build the team in the best way. Like my favorite conversations with my head of operations are just, how can we improve the life of like the team? Wow. Like I'll have those conversations before I have like, yo, what's the next way to get 10 million views? Because I do think with that culture aside, 10 million views, all that stuff, that'll just come. Mm-hmm. Like if I have a team of like 15 like super geniuses that, all are really enjoying life and are so bought in, ideas will just flow. People will just keep thinking of them, and people will also like want to do it.
It's kind of a wild insight. Like the way to like have a successful, sustainable YouTube career isn't just always what's the best idea. It's like, get the best people and listen to them and manage them and work with them well.
Yeah, because I think everyone has their own limits. I can't think of a banger every day. I'll get tired, but if I think of one this day, or if I shoot 10 ideas and someone else shoots 10 and someone else shoots 10, at least then we can just filter stuff out and try to see. But I think the biggest thing too is like the pressure of it. Like the more people you can trust and the more people that are like at that level that are equally as bought in without being the YouTuber or, like the CEO or whatever, the better. Cause I don't know. Like, I think that's where some people kind of like fall short. Like that's where like people will burn out and everything like that.
Because it's just too much pressure if it's just you.
Yeah.
That's smart, man. Dude, this is all just from level 1.
Oh man, we're going to keep going.
Level 2. This time you take one. Level 2.
Heart of the cards.
Exactly.
Did you watch Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, of course. That's why I said.
I love
The
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hard Cars is yelling out right here. It's time to duel.
Yo, so my before I read this, my head of post production, he had this idea for Mr. Beast.
Okay.
Jimmy should do, like the Yu-Gi-Oh like augmented reality where like,
yeah,
you're
with the dual
dueling.
discs?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Jimmy needs to do that.
That'd be sick.
That's the video that might beat Squid Game.
Dude, you could do
That's
it too.
it. No, I can't. I don't have the money for that one.
You're
I
like,
don't have the money or the smarts
Jimmy,
for
we
that.
need you. Big budget.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Oh my gosh. Everyone grew up watching those.
Yeah. Oh, dude, this one's deep.
All right, let's do it,
This
man.
one's deep,
What's the
bro.
question?
What is the last thing you lied to your mother about?
Whoa.
Yo, I don't lie, Mom. If you're watching this, I've never lied to you ever in my
It's
entire
like
life.
if you're not watching this. All right, so level 2. So I'll answer this. You got to get at it too, okay? I'll go first.
Okay. I'm thinking of one, dude. I don't lie. At least I try not to.
So I think for me, it's a little tricky. I actually don't just talk to my mom much about things at all.
Uh-huh.
My relationship with my parents is they love me deeply. And they grew up in a very different world. But for them, the most important thing was like finding something like safe and stable and secure.
Yeah.
So they really wanted me to, hey, like go into a career as a lawyer or banker or a doctor, right? Like go to college. Like,
Yeah,
work
the
at these
classic
places.
like Asian,
Yeah, exactly. And for me, there's a part that because they work so hard and because they given me a lot of resources, I got the privilege of wanting to do something more.
Yeah.
I think there's like Maslow's hierarchy. If you're familiar with it, it talks about like the different levels of human needs. Like it starts basically like oh yeah, food and water and shelter.
Yeah.
And that's a very much where my parents come from. Like we got to support ourselves.
Yeah, we got to survive.
Exactly. And then it's like, oh, like friendship. And then it's like self-actualization.
Yeah.
Like, I feel inspired doing this. And
Yeah.
I got to think about those things because they took care of those earlier stages. So for me, I took a different path, as you know. And it's not one day I was understood. And I realized the more I try and explain it to them for approval, the more frustrated we both get. Because they wouldn't want me to do it and understand. And I get frustrated. So I think my answer to this question is I don't think I actually talk to them much enough to lie.
Yeah.
I would just not tell them.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents were like that, like pretty early on. But also, like, I don't know, like I took on like almost like a different role in my household.
Yeah.
Because like my mom was a single mom, so like
Yeah.
pretty early on, I was like, okay, like I'm going to get to the point where I'm making the decisions for like what's going on and like whatever. So it ended up where when like my mom and I ended up having almost like a friend relationship versus like
Yeah, like hierarchical.
yeah, I was just like, Mom, this is what I'm doing, and she'd just be like, okay. And she was still there, as a mom whenever like I'd mess up and stuff like that, but for the most part she kind of left me to like my own devices, just because I think she realized very early on I was like, I don't like school, I'm not
Here I go.
I'm not doing this. I can, but I don't want to do it. So because of that relationship, it was a lot easier for her to just be like, all right, like I trust you, just don't go to jail. And I was like, all right.
Don't go to jail.
Yeah, I was like, Mom, as long as you can trust me with that, I promise I won't go to jail. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Plus, my mom's like really into like, those like fortune teller or whatever.
Right.
So
right.
apparently when I was born, she went to a fortune teller with me.
He's going to be a big YouTuber.
No, dude, literally, she told me, she was like, the fortune teller said he's going to do great things or he's going to be like a major criminal. And I was like, yo, what?
Yo, 50-50.
Roll it. You're good. Flip the coin.
But that's why your mom's like, okay, as long as he's not a major criminal,
Yeah.
like we good.
She was like, all right, then I trust it. Whatever he decides to do, if he wants to paint, if he wants to whatever, just.
This is so clear. Like she's told you this. She's like, Dylan,
Yeah.
like when you were born, there was a prophecy. The prophecy foretold you do great things or be an asshole.
Yeah, no, literally. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to go to jail either.
How old were you when you heard this for the first time? You're like 5 years old.
Honestly, I was probably like 9.
Yeah, so I was like pretty young.
This is like a really like early
It's
on.
like a formative moment. It's like, don't be a criminal.
Yeah, my mom does believe in a lot of those like superstitious things. So I was like, okay. Well, the good thing is they all are in my favor at the moment. So
Dude, you're not in jail. You're here.
yeah. So I think it helped craft some of the trust. So, you know, she didn't need to like watch over me. Like the first time like I traveled by myself, I was like 13 years old by myself and I went to PAX Prime.
Bro,
Looking back at
as
it,
a 13-year-old, you went to PAX.
looking
Just like-
back at it, I told my mom, I was like, that was a bad decision on your
Yeah,
part.
you're like, why did I do that?
But it all worked out. It all worked out. I'm here, you know, like nothing bad happened. I did go to my first party though, but
at PAX.
at PAX, the always.
I like the 13-year-old, just like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was the first time I sent it. It was crazy.
Yo, okay.
But yeah, so I've never really had like the the need to lie to her, kind of.
Yeah.
But I will say what I feel bad about her. What I feel bad about though is, I mean, sometimes she'll just ask to hang out, and like I'll be like, I'm busy when really like I'm just really tired. But I don't want to tell her that I'm tired. I don't want to be like, Mom, I'm burning out, or Mom, I'm like
She'll
exhausted.
worry.
Yeah, because she'll be like, Dylan, eat more. You're skinny, and I'm like, okay. Or she'll do this thing where if I call her and I'm like, you know, I'm really busy, you know, like work's getting whatever. She'll just go like, so why don't you just quit? And I'm like, what do you mean?
It's so funny you said that. So early on, I tried seeing a therapist when I was at Facebook, and it never stuck because the therapist would say, I'd be like so stressed about all these things, and she would just be like, but like, why don't you just stop doing it?
Dude, oh my gosh. I've heard that. I literally tried like a business therapist one time and I got the same answer and I was like, dude,
Yeah,
that's not how this works.
I was like, this isn't helpful. Like, you don't understand. Like, I'm doing this. Like, clearly I have a pathological need. Like, I want to succeed.
Yeah.
Like, you sitting here and be like, but like, what if you just like took a chill? I'm like, yo, this is not it.
I'm like, dude, just have me like meditate or something, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Like,
I want to
give me a piece of paper that's like, go home, take a bath. Step 2.
You're like, help me
drink
learn
tea.
to manage this.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't do step 1, quit. I'm like,
It's
I'll
like,
be more
it's like,
stressed.
I'm not talking. How do you think I afford to pay you, man?
Yeah,
like,
this is how we keep going to that same therapist. They're like, all right, now I've quit. Now what? And they're like, well, that's what I'm here for.
so I found a totally different therapist where it was never like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you trying? It was like, okay, cool. Let's like figure out how you manage your life, knowing this is part of you.
Yeah. I did therapy for about a year and a half, and some of the stuff in there was, why do I want to keep going so hard?
Yeah.
And like working through all of that stuff and figuring that out helps me like in the moment be like, oh, I get it.
Yo,
Like-
man, this stuff comes early. I mean, for me, it's like, yo, like I grew up like I got love when I achieved, you know? And so
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I got to keep achieving.
Yeah, no, that was like, did school come easy for you?
I didn't have a choice because I grew up so internalized, like you have to succeed.
Yeah.
That it's just like, yo, life is about school and doing well. So it wasn't easy or hard. It's just like, this is just what I had to do.
Yeah, I think for
Yeah.
me, school was like really easy. So it was where like I went home and played with my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I didn't study for the test. I'd go in and I'd
Yeah.
like ace it. And so for me with that, like it was very easy to be like, oh, I don't have fun with this because I'm not trying. That's also why I like YouTube. I can try as much as I want. There's no guarantee.
Right.
You know.
Who's going to watch it? How are the views going to change?
Yeah, and so I think that's why like I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my therapist like and trying to explain this, and she was like, "No, like that makes sense." Where it's, I didn't really have to try at like school or like I don't know. I did like extracurriculars. So I was in like choir, theater.
Oh, so you can sing, you can act.
Oh well, at a middle school level, I can.
Yo, that's pretty
Let's
good level.
go.
That's still
There we go.
5th grade level. We got this. Yeah.
I'll destroy those little
Dude,
middle
I'm
schoolers.
still waiting for the YouTube video. It's like Hyper, the production.
the musical.
The musical. It's like Draw Your Life, but you're just like singing.
I'm just singing through it. But yeah, so like all of those things came pretty easy to me. Like I don't know if it's just because it did, or I was like you, where it's like if I did something, it was like okay, like I'm just doing it.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like I have to be
Full
good at
send.
it. I don't know if I like fully thought through all of that and figured out like what the actual thing is. But in my therapy sessions, they were like, no, like this makes sense why you're kind of addicted to this.
Yeah.
There's no way to be number one. There's no way to be top of this, top of that. Like you can kind of just like keep going and getting better.
But that's why it's
getting better.
gonna keep rewarding you.
Yeah.
You can't be number one.
Yeah. And it's so weird because I'll tell people that and they'll be like, but if you can't be number one, why do it? I'm like, because there's a chance. Like, there's a chance I can keep going.
Why climb Everest? Because it's there. It's
Yeah.
the challenge.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. That's diverting back to the question. Like, that was probably the last time I lied to my mom. She'd be like, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. Doing good. She's like, how's work? And I'm like, it's perfect.
It's like narrator, like Dylan was not good.
Yeah. Dylan was not
like,
good.
He zooms on your face, like anxiety intensifies.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'll just kind of tell my mom, I'm like, yeah, like I'm good. Like work's going great. You know, like she'll be like, are you eating? And I'm like, yes, I am. 4 meals a day.
Oh, boy.
Haven't skipped a meal ever. And she's
Like-
like, good to hear.
I feel like, though, to your point, that actually, I really get it when you're like, there's a chance, right? Like, I do think it is about the journey. There's like this saying. So Neil Gaiman's a sci-fi author, and he once wrote, the price of getting what you want
Yeah.
is now having it.
Yeah.
Like, now you have it. Like, there's no more journey to achieve or accomplish. You just have it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I felt like when I hit 1 million subscribers for the first time. I hit it and I was like, okay. Like, it was,
You're like,
it was
all
a
right.
very, yes.
Let's go.
Now what? What do I do now? And then like I think the moment for me hitting like 100K was bigger than like a mil. Like when I hit 100K, all my friends were there. We were all cheering. I was on vacation. It was crazy. But after that, I think growing up, I don't know if your family was this way too, but like a lot of things were almost like monetarily focused.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So it was like we didn't grow up rich or anything like that, but like
Same.
status
Yeah.
and everything like that was
Yeah.
like very, important and like keeping face or showing face.
Yeah.
What's the phrase for
Totally.
it? But
It's like showing that you seem to be like doing good and all that stuff.
yeah, so a lot of that was the big thing. And like I think I inherently adopted that where I was like, okay, sick. I just need to like get this and get this and get this and get this. And then in 2020, this is bad because like technically during like COVID was like the worst time for everybody, but technically speaking, like for YouTubers in terms of like views, money, and no one talks about this, but like every YouTuber was making like the most they've ever made.
Right.
And so like at the start of like COVID and stuff like that, like I had just moved into like a brand new place. Wow. My rent was obnoxious. I just bought like a new car. I was going out to dinner all the time or ordering dinner all the time. And then at a certain point I was like, yo, I have all of the monetary things that like
trappings.
that like my family, spoke about, like I bought a Mercedes and I was like, I have all of this. And then I was like, yo, this kind of sucks. Like I was like meaner. I was like, I had like a bigger ego. And then I just kind of hit like a breaking point where I was like, yo, let me just try to figure out how to build something that like I don't need, this big title or this big, whatever. And that's ultimately what like led me to hiring and like building a team. Because
wow.
It wasn't like I want to build a company so I can make more money. It was like I want to build a company just so I have something.
Yeah.
And like now I'm making, like probably like 6 times less than what I was making when it was just like just me and doing like 6 times the amount of work. But it's okay. Like it's fun.
You got to do it with a team, which is in itself become part of the reason why you're doing this.
Yeah, like I think that's the interesting thing about the journey. Like I feel like I got to that point where I had all of the things that I physically needed.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I didn't understand the journey getting to that first point. But now after having it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I kind of like this journey now. Like I like the ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's I talked to someone about this before. It's almost like when you're first trying to like get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like the chase is like kind of fun.
But then
You
in a
hate it in
relationship.
the moment. You're like, dude, I don't want to keep chasing. But
Right.
I feel like that way about work where I'm like, yo, I want to just keep like going and going and going.
And I think there's actually another good part to the analogy, because if you just optimize for getting the girlfriend, well, like, cool, now you're in a relationship. Like now it's just the day to day.
Yeah, and then it's like even in a relationship. Actually, like one of my good friends, Preston. When I was like really young, I tried to ask him like, yo, like how don't you burn out and like whatever, and he was like, doing YouTube and like a job that you like, it's almost like a relationship. Like you can just be in it, you can just be content, but that ultimately won't work. You need to put in time and effort. There's going to be ups and downs. Like in YouTube, all of those like dips in your retention or dips in your views per month, like if you like chart it out, like just like highs and lows, that happens in relationships. And so it's like in a relationship, in order to keep it going, you need to keep putting in the work. You need to keep, like finding different ways to like show love and like innovating this and whatever. And it's like YouTube works the same way. You can't just be like, all right, I'm a creator, I'm going to do the same thing forever and like not constantly be like, yo, I'm in love with this. I'm in love with this.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy doing this.
It's the process is an ongoing. It's showing that love, figuring out how to work with it.
Yeah. So like he told me that I think when I was like 16, 17.
Wow.
So that stuck with me for a while. I will say I got really, really lucky like early on just meeting people.
Yeah.
Like literally that party my mom let me go to when I was 13 opened the door for like meeting, like all of my closest friends now.
Yeah. I feel like it sort of goes back to your point on team, like everything good, like by ourselves, we're just like really alone. There's not only so much any one person can do. You got to like broaden who you're working with, and that's how you get ideas, as you get opportunities.
I feel that way too about like friends. Like I have no shame in asking my friends like for advice or like,
it's like, help me out. What do you think?
Yeah. And also, it's one of those, I'm also cool with asking for like a bunch of help, a bunch of advice and having no like shame with it, because my first and foremost thought is let's just try to give back what I can. That way it's not, I don't like to just take. Right. So it's like whenever I can be of help to anyone, like I'm there. I
love that.
Cause I think like the more you give, the better. Like it, I don't know. Like I feel like things just like come back. I'm also, like in 2020, like me and my girlfriend, like we went on like a spiritual journey and like, like found God and like, like
big
really
things.
tried to like almost like fill whatever hole like there was. And like, cause like my girlfriend kind of got caught up in like our lifestyle too.
Yeah.
And like, that's really like helped us like mellow out and like really just try to just give more to people. And like, it's not that I expect anything back, but I just kind of ask. I'm just like, yo, so what do you think about this? And if someone answers me, I'm like, all right, cool. Like
I'm a big believer. Like it's so funny when you said like going to that PAX party as a 13-year-old, you like met the people who changed your life. And I can totally see how quoting that sounds weird.
I know. I was like 13. Everyone here is, I'm not going to say ages because technically it's bad, but like everyone here was a lot older than me.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, we all do Minecraft.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yo, say. Ended up changing your life. Yeah. I feel like for me, when I was in San Francisco, I met like,
you lived in San Francisco when you were working
yeah,
at
when I was
Instagram,
in
right?
tech, like I always wanted to do a startup. And I think in San Francisco, I met people like my age, like some younger, some older, who were doing it.
Yeah.
And that's who was a huge part of helping me do it, because I got to see people.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't as abstract like you read about. It's like, oh, this person, he's just like living out of his car and now he's doing a company. Like, okay, like I know him. Like, I don't think he's like 10 times smarter than I am. Like, if he can do it, then so can I. And then he gives me advice, and then sometimes I share advice on with others. Like, it sort of just becomes an ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's like where a lot of YouTubers mess up too, where it's, I think, this sounds weird, but I think in order to do YouTube, you need some type of ego, because technically it's, I'm putting my content out there into the world.
You have to like
you're
believe
gonna watch it.
You're worth it.
Yeah, so it's like there is some ego to it, but I don't, but I think a lot of people like confuse ego with like confidence. So it's, I think Jimmy says this a lot, where it's, if you are with the group that just kind of like tells you where you mess up, you will grow exponentially faster.
Yeah.
And I feel like, applying that to just like life is like the way to go. Like there are people that I know where they don't want to ask for help because it's like, because I want to seem like I know what I'm doing. I want to look like I am at the top of my game. And I'm like, what's the point? Like, you don't feel good. They're like, you're
just making it harder.
Yeah, you're making it harder. No one really cares that you're asking questions, if anything, right? Like sometimes in some of those conversations where like I just ask people something, maybe they learn something in the middle of our conversation, and boom, it's beneficial for us both, and then we both feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Or like we both just like hide things from each other, whether it's like, hey, how are you feeling about life, or how YouTube's changing, or just like super general stuff. I feel like the more you just talk to people and the more you try to just like ask for help and like try to help them, the better everyone like will be. Like I have like
Yeah.
a no shame mentality. I'm like,
love it.
If I have a business question, I'm like, all right, these are like the 6 people I know that are really good at business. What do you think about this? What about this? What about this? And if I get a response from one of them, sick. If none of them responds to me, I'll follow up.
Ping more people.
I'll
Again.
ping more people, or I'll throw like an up arrow, and I'll be like, hey,
Yo,
I
thoughts?
sent this, by the way. And, like, if they're annoyed with me, they'll tell me they're annoyed with me. But, at the end of the day, like, if they need anything from me, like, I'm there.
Dude, Dylan, I'm the same way. Whenever I have questions,
Yeah.
I have like, if it's around creators, like I'll ping these. But I've asked you questions.
Yeah.
I've literally, actually, no, Dylan, I've literally texted Bill. I'm like, like, how do you think about Texas? Like, how do you get...
Texas is the place. Every YouTuber watching this.
I meant taxes.
Oh,
not
taxes.
Texas.
Listen, Texas.
No, but I've literally like pinged you questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, cool. If I have questions in the creator world, like I actually trust you. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, like Dylan's a homie. Like he's a good guy,
go. I
right?
made it.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Now we're going to be besties. I'm a homie
We're
now,
we're
but
not really strangers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes it'll be like, on like the startup venture side or like the financial side. And I have people, I'll just be like, hey, like, what do you think?
yeah, I got into a couple of business podcasts, and what's interesting to me is I was almost adverse to some of those like business podcasts because I thought it would just be like grind, don't sleep, never sleep, just keep working until you die.
Right.
And
kind of dangerous. Yeah.
yeah, and I decided out of nowhere just like listen to one that my friend showed me. I don't remember what it's called. But after listening to it, I was super surprised because it was actually like, hey, take some time for yourself.
Yeah.
And like,
it's a journey.
Ask questions and find a list of people to talk to about, your personal life and your work life. And I was like, yo, this is not what I thought a business podcast would be like.
This is healthy.
Yeah, I was like, I guess like the podcast like might have changed since, I don't know, like 2012. Because I feel like the ones in 2012 were like, work hard until you die.
Right.
Don't stop. But
So grind.
yeah, after listening to those, I was like, oh, sick.
Well, I still think there are all those hustle grind ones.
Yeah,
out
they
there.
still exist.
But I think a huge realization is what you said. Like, in order to be a good businessman as an entrepreneur, you also have to feel good about yourself. And like, to make sure you feel good about yourself, it's like, you're living a life you like on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I think that's also the difference between like ego and like confidence. Like when you're confident, you're okay with like asking for help, because I'm also confident in like the fact that my friends like me and they'll like,
Dylan,
tell me
it's the
stuff.
You need ego. You need ego to be like, people want to watch me on camera.
Yeah.
And you need ego to be like, my friend gives a shit and cares about me enough to reply if I ask them a question.
It's just like a different type. Like I think people like confuse like the different types. Cause like I would say like ego isn't inherently bad.
Yeah.
But there's the bad connotation. A lot of people like misconstrue it. Cause ego is everyone wants to watch me. All of my ideas are right. I'm not asking for help. But that's like a really bad version of it. Right? But like if I'm just like confident that I'm confident that I can text you and be like, hey, yo, I'm messing up my money. Help.
Or no, Dylan, it's the same reason when I asked you to come on the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're super busy, but I have enough ego to be like, no, I think this will be fun. And
Yeah.
we'll actually get to know each other better.
Yeah.
But it's a difference between ego and the confidence where you're like, no, like I don't need anybody. I'm doing this all right.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think I definitely used to make that mistake where I was like, I know everything. I know like the best route for, my life. I know my best route for like my girlfriend's life and this person's life. And like, if anyone brought me a problem, I'm like, you're just doing it wrong. Do it my way. And I realized I was like, wait, I can't think like that. I don't know everything. So let me like reset and like try to like learn and like listen. And I feel like with that, like the amount of value that like I can provide for someone else, one, just by like really listening and like understanding is like way more. And also the amount of like information I can take in also like exponentially increases like a ton.
I love that, man. Dude, I'm ready. Let's do level 3.
All right, it's your call, your pick. Oh, dude, bro, these do get deep. Somehow we started talking about like confidence and ego, but it led from lying to your mom. This is a deep game.
These are good questions.
I should play this with my girlfriend.
You're gonna come back and be like, so remember that thing you told me you wanted to play and I never played it? Like,
yeah.
Can we play it?
I'm down. Let's just have like a night, drink some wine, and play this game. I'm down.
Level 3. This is a good one.
A reflection. Oh, dude, it says reflection on the back of the card.
So like, let's see. Level 1.
I'm stressed now.
Perception. What you think about like other people.
Yeah.
Right. Level 2 is like, connection. Let's get to know each other a little bit more. Level 3 is, what do you think our most important similarity is?
Me and you?
Yeah.
we're Asian. No, just kidding.
Well, there's a shared cultural context there, sure.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Most, what do you think are most important? Okay. I feel like our outlook on things is pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like, I think you have the same thought process I do, where it's just keep learning, even if like
Yes.
things don't seem like they, are gonna work this way or whatever. Like, it's almost that. This kind of ties back to like the Asian thing, but like it kind of ties back into like when our parents got to this country, it was kind of like, yo, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, let's just like try to like adapt to the surroundings and like, make something work. And I think you and I have that approach almost like ingrained, but applied to like 2022.
When I agree with that too, what I especially resonate with you is I feel like we went through a similar journey of like, you mentioned you hit like 1 million on YouTube and you're like, yeah. And it felt like a little less good than when you just hit 100K.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool, I can live this different lifestyle, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I've had similar moments where I'd like work super, super hard. Like, oh, I got into Harvard, right? Or like, oh, I raised
Do I forget you went to Harvard? You're so smart.
You too, dude. You too. Or like, oh, I raised my like first $1 million in venture funding for Carrot, right? And it's like, I think you and I, it's like you realize like those are just moments.
Yeah.
And they quickly pass. And
You can't like, you
Yeah.
can take a video of it, but you can't like feel it.
it just
again.
goes, it disappears. And then it's just back to the normal grind.
Yeah.
It's just back to whatever you're doing that got you there. And if you hate what you did to get there,
Yeah.
you're going to hate what you're doing after.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you need to make sure what matters less is like, I hit 1 million, I made 1 million. It's more the like, what I'm doing on an ongoing basis. Like, do I feel good about that?
Yeah.
And that's what you said about, hey, like finding the balance between ego and confidence, like building a team of people you can trust and talk about things to.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and also too, if you feel good about what you're doing, those moments, one, they last longer and they feel a lot better. Like, I am much more, like, I'm much happier when, one of my videos hits 1 mil now than before, because one, it's not just me in my room being like, yay, but it's other people are also like feeling that same energy and like they're happy with it too. And it's not just my creation, it's our creation.
It makes it more special. And again, it's what you said. You said earlier, hey, I just trust in the process.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like good things just come to people who like try to, do good things back. Like that's like it. I don't know. I feel like we live in a world where it's very easy to be like pessimistic.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's the point? Like getting deep with it. Like at that point, what's the point of doing anything if we're just gonna be like pessimistic about it?
If life is just nasty, brutish, and short, who cares?
Yeah. They're like, why? They're like, why do I not like? Why do I get up? I can just sleep and watch TV and just be like, all right, well, nothing's gonna happen anyways. But having that outlook of like, if I'm always gonna try to figure it out, if I'm always going to like give out as much as I can, and things will just happen. Like even taking like the bad things that do happen, I'm like, that's because of what I put out, and like this is probably something that's good for me.
Yeah.
Because I've had those realizations a lot too, and it's one of those when those things happen, just like let's just keep figuring it out. And to a certain extent, like growing up, I was almost like a little jaded by like being Asian, where I was like, yo, I don't kind of like this, like not like grind hustler type
Yeah, but
vibe,
it's like, oh, cool. Like the safe, like my mom's like, my parents were like, you got to be like a banker. Like we can talk about it with her friends. Like, oh, my son's a banker.
Yeah, it's one of those that's like they technically did the same thing we're doing now, just like in a different space. Like they came and they're like, we're gonna figure it out, because technically they could have just stayed where they were and like made the most of it, right?
Yeah. They tried to do something different.
Yeah, like they were like, maybe it wasn't like let's just try to have like a different career, but it's like we are gonna go here and like change the life of our future generations, all of them.
It's honestly a wild concept to think
Dude,
about.
that one's hard. To me, that sounds harder than what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, it's like
I can't move to Europe and be like, I'm changing it all.
Right, it's like my life might actually be worse, but like it's gonna be better for my kids.
Yeah.
It's like a really like sobering obligation to like think through.
Yeah, and so it's like I think that's what they don't really understand too, because one, like times change so quickly, but it's like, I try to break it down and I'm like, you're doing the same thing that I'm doing. Like you push the limits. You tried to change things. I'm just trying to do it in
2022.
Yeah, in 2022. And it's not, maybe like my like actual like life isn't on the line. Like I don't like my future generations aren't on the line or anything like that. But where you made your own path for me, like I'm trying to almost like take that opportunity and like go with it.
It's like ironically, the same hustle that they displayed. It's like we're internalizing and wanting to do the same. And that means not necessarily following what they thought is what they wanted for us.
Yeah, like I think I misunderstood it growing up. So I was just like, oh my gosh, they just want me to do this and this and this. And then the older I got, I was like, yo, wait, like this, the attitude I have for things is directly based off of like their decision to like come out here and like do all of this.
I definitely feel that's something that you and I going through that cultural context and learning to adapt that. Like, I want to do something to like, okay, I want to do something, but also do so in a way that doesn't suck.
Yeah. What's tough too is like, I don't know if I was like if I like rejected my culture a little bit growing up, but like the older I get, the more I'm trying to like get back into it. And also just like seeing my two cousins are in college right now. And they are very like, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna do all these internships.
They're in that like, I need to get it.
Yeah, and like because I started working a lot earlier, I think I was able to like realize some of just like the life stuff ahead of time. Dude, there's so many times I talk to them and I'm like, yo, take a step back. Like you don't need to be in 900 clubs. You're not happy right now. They don't listen to me, but they will. Like
they have to go through.
Realize
that was like me in college. You have to go through your own learnings because one day they're gonna like either they're gonna burn out totally or they're gonna like hit the thing that they worked hard for and then they're gonna get there and they're gonna be super happy. The next moment they're gonna be like surprise Pikachu face. They'll just be like, oh, I gave up like everything to accomplish this. Now I got it and I have nothing. Huh.
Yeah, that's kind of like my approach with them has changed where I would say probably like 2-3 years ago, I'd be like, dude, you're stupid, stop. But now I'm just kind of like, okay, like I get it. They have to experience this. Like, let me just be there to hear them out whenever they're like struggling
when
in
they're
college.
ready and they want to learn more.
Yeah. Like I think they're smart enough, like both of them, like they're smart enough to like figure it out and like get there. But I'm like, look, the hustle is like different. Like they feel pressure from like their mom. Like my cousin literally was like, I need to make 80K leaving college. I was like, why?
She's my mom.
She was like, because I need to make more than my mom. I was like, well, why? And she was like, and I'm like,
I had that same mentality growing up. I was like, I need to make more than my dad. It's a mix of obligation. He worked so hard.
Yeah.
A mix of resentment. Like, I'll show him I can do it.
Yeah.
And it makes it like internalizing their expectations. Like, oh, this is how I get valued as a human being.
Yeah.
And the past years has just been me learning to grow past it. It's like, yes, my parents did a lot for me. And the best way to honor it is not necessarily by doing everything that they're telling me to do. It's expressing in a different way.
Yeah. I to like almost like go back to the thing. Like, I would say like a deeper version of our, like similarity would be like taking what was ingrained and almost like, I feel like both of us, we've like re-perceived it in like a more positive way.
Right, reframed it.
Yeah.
It's like how you reframe the drive.
Yeah. Cause I think it's like, I think a lot of things are very double-edged swords. Like they can either be very negative or very, very good. And yeah, like I think both, like you and I probably both could have just been like, all right, let's just like grind out something else and just like made a lot of money and been like, whatever.
That's just the life.
Yeah.
Man, I love your point on things aren't positive or negative. Like that's actually one of my tenets too. Everything is just a capability or tendency or trait in you. And depending on the situation, it could come off as a strength or as a weakness.
That's why I think like with that, if the mindset is, let's just like be optimistic about stuff and like
the process. You have your own principles, which is like be good to people, give back, be optimistic, and you just have the faith this will produce.
Yeah. And I will say like I am very blessed that like there hasn't been any major issues that have like shifted my frame of mind since like I started that. Like I'm first and foremost, right? Like I would say, like right in the beginning, if like let's say something bad really happened, right when I was like, let's give back, and then like something traumatizing happened, probably would be very, very difficult for me to like stay in that way. But like I'm very blessed. Like in the past, 2-3 years, like maybe my views aren't like the highest,
Sure.
like that they were. Cause like I was doing, like 40 million views, like I think March of like COVID on like one
Yep.
channel.
Yep.
Definitely not hitting like numbers like that anymore. But like once I reframed everything, it was my just general life is better. Like I'm sleeping more. I'm actually working out. I'm not like just, for lack of a better phrase, just like killing myself like on like the daily, like with the grind. And so yeah, just with that mindset, like it's allowed me to keep thinking like that.
I remember I got dinner with this guy named Alex Hormozy, and super sharp business thinker. And he told me, anything you do, you need to think to yourself, is this sustainable if I did this for 100 years?
Yeah.
Because like that's how things last and that's how you build. And if this was sustainable for 100 years, like, why are you doing this? And I really was like, wow, that makes so much sense. And I feel like I'm hearing a version of that from you too. You're like, yeah, like if I'm killing myself for this, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like I won't even get to enjoy any parts of it if I'm just like drowning the entire time. And like, I guess the way I would describe my thought process on things is I would just call myself like realistically optimistic. Like I know there will be days that I'm very tired. I know there will be days where I'm like, yo, is it worth it? Should I quit? Like, I feel like that's normal. And I feel like people try to hide away from that. Like people are like, no. This is YouTube. I love it. I gotta keep going. I keep going. I can't feel anything.
Just accept it.
Yeah. Just accept that it's a thing, but also feel it in the moment and take a step forward. Like that's kind of like how I like to look at things. Like I'm feeling tired now. Like I literally told you like 2 days ago, I was like, yeah, I'm a little burnt out right now.
And I really appreciated that. And that's why I shared like, oh, I'm burned out also, because you shared first.
Yeah. It's just like, what's the point of hiding? Like I don't care that I'm
and
like,
I remember our friend sitting next to us was like, wait, what?
yeah, they're like, really? You hide it really well.
Yeah, and I was like, ha 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 ha, yes.
Yeah, but it's one of those like, it's good to get out, and it's not like me saying I'm burnt out doesn't mean, all right, I'm taking the next 3 weeks off, I'm quitting.
No, it's just being able to like be honest.
Yeah, and like that in itself is just a stress relief. Like I don't need to say, like I'm burnt out, and I don't need someone to go, here are all the things you can do.
Oh yeah, it's just like, cool.
Yeah.
I acknowledge this.
Yeah, just like not needing to show that I'm like at the top of my game.
Man, yo.
I was supposed to come on this last night, and I was like, dude, I'm tired.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
I was totally chill with that.
I was
thanks.
like, I can't do this. I went out to dinner. I will sleep.
I've started to do it too. Sometimes I'll just reply to things and be like, I'm tired.
Yeah. And it's like having people around you too that can like acknowledge that and like reciprocate and like understand, dude. Just that. I'm like, oh, sick. Cool. I don't need to be CEO. I am always on it. I am like the grinder. Cause I'm like, I am, but not all the time. It's not, every day. And, with that mindset too, I can talk about it and then I can just move forward. I can be burnt out and go, but if I keep taking a step forward, or even in the moment, right, take a step back for like a second, I know that like things will get better. I'll feel better and stuff like that.
I love that. Let's do one more to cap us off.
All right. I'll pull level 3.
Level 3, dude.
All right. Well, this one's level 3?
Level 3.
All right.
Heart of the cards, baby.
Yes, sir. Okay. How would you describe me to a stranger? Asian. No,
Bro.
Dude, all of my friends, like this is back in like 2013 when you couldn't get canceled for it. But like everyone would have me in their phone as like Dylan, parentheses, Asian. And I'm like, all right, that's fine.
I would describe you as...
He's just about to gas me up.
No, I'm trying to give an honest answer. Emotionally thoughtful and aware.
You know what's crazy? I feel like my like emotional IQ was like in 2020 like extremely low.
Yeah.
Like
I
my
believe
therapist
that.
was like,
He's like, are you a robot?
yeah,
Like,
my therapist was like, you IQ wise, like you're pretty intelligent, but like emotions, you know nothing. Because my girlfriend would be like, I'm sad. And I'd be like, but why? Like this was
But like, I does not compute. I don't understand.
yeah, I'd be like, what is
But
sadness?
here is car.
Yeah, like, but here is car.
Yeah.
You sad, I compartmentalize.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but no, dude, I appreciate that. Like that's definitely something that like I've really spent a lot of time just like trying to like focus on over the past like couple of years, just like listening.
Man, I
and, like,
see it.
dude. It's weird, honestly.
Like that's actually the way I describe you. Not it's like, this is hyper. Or like,
this is
you know?
hyper.
No, yeah,
he
no.
does YouTube.
I'm like, no, emotionally thoughtful and aware.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude.
I would describe you. Here's the thing. I'm very bad with words, so I go on tangents.
Yeah, so do I. That's why conversation's fun.
I would describe you as someone who's, for as long as I've known you, anyways, like always, like you're very open and like I feel like you're someone who genuinely like looks out for like a lot of people,
man.
just like almost like naturally. Like you've never, not that you've like never said no to me or anything like that, but like you've always like kept the door open for like any questions that I had for you. You've always been very open with like meeting new people, very personable, and like just you have like a very solid outlook on
Thanks,
just
man.
things in general, and I think like that shows with like everyone around you. Like no one that I've met has said anything bad about you. And like everyone's like literally like, yo, Eric's dope. Like I'm not messing with you. Like I'll show it to you right now. Like I texted like our friend Shane, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to Eric's podcast. He said,
Nice.
tell him I said what's up. Like you know, like he's
Shane's
just
a homie.
yeah. Like everyone that you know knows you knows that like you're very personal, you're very open, and like I think you're always trying to open doors for like
Thank you,
other
man.
people, like first and foremost.
Oh, we're not really strangers anymore.
Oh my god, now we can date.
I know. No, that means a lot to me too. Like, yeah, man, I've worked really hard, and I feel like it's the same way you said. Like, you feel like your life changed when like you got on the phone with this guy, and you were at this PAX convention as a 13-year-old.
That's a story for another time.
I know. I feel like
That's just the after hours.
yeah, this is the
podcast.
after hours one.
That's the one I should have filmed last night.
Extended cut. I feel like my life has just gotten so much better when I've just tried to get to know people better. And like, for me, like the most valuable part of getting to do this with you is like building and investing in the relationship between us. Like that is valuable
Yeah.
in itself, independent of everything else. That I find that precious.
Yeah.
To just get to know you better as a human,
Yeah.
and for you to get to know me the same.
Yeah. I think that's something that almost like, I don't know, maybe it's because, you know, I technically don't have like real world experience, like growing up or anything like that, but it's definitely something that like after I realized, I was like, oh wait, talking to people and like connecting with people is like important. And like like logistics aside, making money aside, if you do this first, you'll be able to get to higher places than you were before, and you'll be able to feel comfortable the entire time, and like you'll be able to actually like remember the things that you do. Because I realized a lot of the stuff, you know, like pre-connecting with people, I don't remember. Like hitting a mill, I remember I was in my room.
Just like you.
I was in my room. I was like, cool. But like 100K, I was with people. I was with my friends, you know, and like when a video hits a mill now, I'm like, yo, these are people that worked on it. And these are people that I know and I trust. And like, even coming out here, right? I'm like, LA is much more fun. Like, I don't really like LA.
Yeah.
But like, LA is only fun because, you know, yes, I'm tired, but like, I got dinner with you, you know, and like two of our other friends. I got dinner last night with more people, and like, I'm here with my team too. And it's like, I get to know all of these people a little bit more and like listen to them. And it's really nice. Dang, dude, this is deep, bro. What the heck?
Give me a hug.
Dude, what the heck? It's the deepest podcast, bro. What the heck? I'm going to cry. Oh, man.